In this episode of Growing Your Sense of Self Through Self-Defense, we're going to look at a counter to the Will Smith face slap. My partner today is Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve is a black belt in Hapkido, and he's going to be starring in a G.I. Joe movie as a... man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to offend or anything like that. It was my fault. Me bad. See, if you insult somebody like in fun, like a joke, and it doesn't go over well, you could tell, you fall on your sword, you back off. That happens sometimes, but you just recognize that I wasn't trying to pick on a guy. Sometimes maybe you are, but not this time. So you just fall on your sword and things are cool, generally speaking. Now, in this defense, or this counter, when Will Smith was coming up to The Rock, Chris Rock, you could tell Chris Rock should have known he wasn't going to come up here and pat me on the back, right? There was probably something in his face, but also the fact that he was interrupting my talk. I should have known something not so good was going to happen. So in that situation, when a guy, especially a bigger guy, is coming to you, you put your hands up like this here. It's like raising your hands and it's like, look, I don't mean no harm, I don't mean no harm. The reality is, that's an advantage for me to raise my hands. If I'm carrying a piece of the Old West, I want my hands down by my gun. Here, I want my hands up because these are my weapons. Not a gun, not a knife I'm going to pull, but my hands. So I like them to be more in play, where the action's going to happen, not out of the way. So I'd raise my hands. Now, I talked earlier about the Shaolin Creed. Avoid rather than check, check rather than hurt, hurt rather than maim, and maim rather than kill. And there is avoidance. If I was quick enough, if he's throwing a slap at me in slow motion, I can avoid leaning back. Muhammad Ali used to do that all the time when he was boxing. I know Will Smith played Muhammad Ali. He ain't Muhammad Ali. Nobody is. I certainly am not. So that's a risky one because he came off real quick with that. If I don't lean back fast enough, he's likely to make contact. And even if I get out of the way on the avoid, if he still kicked at me, he might shoot me with the other hand, right? Or do something else to me. Or kick my groin because it's exposed more as I'm leaning back. So, but that's an avoidance technique. What I'm going to do with my hands up, I'm going to do a check technique, but I'm also going to carry it through to even more than that. Now, Chris Rock would have had to determine what's the right level to take it to, or whoever you are when this guy's coming at you using that attack. It's your choice. You have to judge based on things going around. So what I'm doing with my hands up, see, I'm blocking. He can't so easily get to my face, and I don't even have to move. If he's real quick, it's blocking him. Now, he might think I can power through that, go ahead, power through that, and still hit me. And maybe he can, right? He's bigger and stronger. So all I'm doing is buying myself at least a little bit of time. I'm doing this in slow motion. I'm hands up, he's coming in, and as he comes in, he got there before me, but I'm getting out of the way, so I'm not there where he wants to strike. And what I'm going to do is, I have a hand here, I'm going to lean into him with in the face anywhere. The jaw's a good spot. It's like an uppercut with the palm heel of my hand. It's a fleshy piece of meat that doesn't get hurt so easy with a heavy bone underneath it. So this is a real powerful, this is how we break concrete, with that part of the hand. Now, once I'm coming up doing that, I'm also grabbing his arm that I blocked, and I'm going to step past him with this left leg, like this here. As I do that, I'm dropping his hand that struck him on the cheek. Now, we've seen the sweep before. So one hand on the shoulder, one hand on the arm, and I'm going to drive my shoulder into his shoulder and torque him. Get him off balance, right? So what I'm going to do is get all this weight on this foot. Like, leap your feet there. Then I'm going to do the sweep. Swing past him, catch him with my hamstring as I come back. And down he goes. Now, when he's on the ground, I could do a finishing move like I'm holding his hand. I just have it with a second one. I'm just going to step over. We've seen this in another one until I hear a crack. And then if I'm at the Academy Awards, I say, security, police, whatever, come in and clean up the mess. Right? So that would be the technique. I'm going to do it in regular speed, and Mr. Steve's going to do it to me regular speed. So, I don't mean anything. I didn't mean no harm. I didn't mean no harm. And quick leave go when you have that move on, because that, if you go fast, either hold it loose so you can spin, or just let it go. So I'm going to do to you, okay? You son of a... Okay, good. Well, it started working up. That was good. All right, that's the counter to the Will Smith face slap, or anybody's face slap, but he's the man of the jour. Thank Mr. Steve. Till next time, kamsahamnida. Toodles.